Hi, welcome to our recording for this class. This is Miss Safi here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to go over writing effective paragraphs, and this really is the building block for essays too. So make sure that you adhere to whatever information you hear in this presentation to apply to your essays too. So what we'll cover today is what is a paragraph, reasons to write a paragraph, parts of a paragraph, transitions, and examples of this wonderful paragraph. So, what is a paragraph? Let's start there. Basically, a paragraph is a group of sentences that tells about one subject or area, and that's really key. Each sentence in a paragraph must give information about that topic and that topic only. So, whatever your stated subject is, that's what you need to stick to. Why do we write a paragraph? Well, for the same reasons we write an essay and for the same reasons that we read something. There's four main ones: to describe something, to tell a story, to explain something, and to persuade. Okay? So there are three main parts to a paragraph, and you need to make sure that your paragraphs have all three of these components. This is very, very important. You need to have a topic sentence, supporting details, and a closing. And we're going to look at each of those pieces separately. So, the topic sentence. This states the main idea of the paragraph. It tells the reader what the paragraph will be about. A good topic sentence does two things. It names a subject and then it gives the focus or main point about the subject. The best way to lose me as a reader is to not put a topic sentence in there or put a topic sentence that you then don't back up in the body of the paragraph. So again, your topic sentence should tell us what you're going to write about and then specifically what you're going to say about that topic. Let's look at some examples. Notice that in point 1 and 2, I put not too broad in both pieces. So whatever you select must not be too broad. So let's look at this. If I want to write about Egypt, that's huge. But let's say I want to write about Egypt and I want to focus on their religion. Okay, that's a little better, but it's still very broad. We need to narrow that down further. So, how about I talk about Egyptian religion as my subject, and the focus will be the gods of that religion? Okay, that's a start, but there's still a lot I could say about this. So, how can I narrow this down even further? Well, I still want to write about Egyptian religion, but this time I'm going to focus on the three main gods of that religion. Ta-da, you now have a focused topic sentence. And by doing that, you let your reader know that they can expect to read a paragraph about Egyptian religion and that it'll focus on the three main gods of that religion. All right. So let's look at the next piece of this, the supporting details. So these are sentences that are connected to the main idea. The details support the main idea of the paragraph. They include information or details the reader needs in order to understand the topic, and they do not include irrelevant information. These sentences should be ordered in the best possible order and transitions should be used. And I am including a handout for you on transitions. Be sure to access that and download it and or print it. So there are three main ways to do transitions. There are lots of them, but the three main ones that are commonly used are transitions of time, location, and importance. So now let's move over to your concluding sentence. Be sure to use a closing transition and again look at the handout that I'm providing. In your conclusion, you want to restate your main idea in different words, and please do not give any new information. This is not the time to do that. A concluding sentence or a paragraph in an essay has the objective of providing closure, to recap what was said and leave it at that. All right, let's look at how all of this comes together. In red here, you have the topic sentence. In the middle, in white, you have the detailed sentences. And in green, you have the closing sentence. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pause the recording here and read this paragraph out loud to yourself, focusing on these three components and how they come together. Go ahead and pause now. Right, assuming you've read that paragraph and took some time to soak in the three elements, let's talk a little more about transitions. Again, these help your paragraphs flow together. They link ideas so that they relate to one another. Some examples are right here. In the same way, similarly, likewise, while, on the other hand, although, however. These are common transitions that you'll see in a paragraph or an essay. If you're doing something that's chronological, you would say something to the effect of first this happened, then that, next we went here. So notice those transition words that are indicating time. And then we do have those concluding transitions that I spoke about, where it'll say things to just indicate to your reader that you're wrapping up, such as a result, therefore, finally, in conclusion, in summary. And again, all of this just helps your writing flow, and you can refer to these on your transitions handout. All right, so here's that same paragraph again, but this time I've circled for you the transitions that were used in this, and I'm going to ask you to pause the recording again and reread this paragraph, but this time pay special attention to the transitions that are used and what effect and flow they add to this paragraph. When you're done, restart the recording. All right, thank you for joining me in that, and I'm assuming that you've taken some time to soak up those transitions in the paragraph. Okay, so now let's start to try to bring these pieces together. So let's say I want to write about penguins. Okay, this is something I'm interested in, so I'm going to write about it. So I need three details to begin with, three details that I want to write about in this particular paragraph. You want to just get into the habit of always having at least 3 points to say about something. So keep that magic number in mind. So I'm going to start to think, what do I know about penguins already? If I don't know enough, or this is a research paper, I would go to outside sources and find this information. So regardless of how you get the information, whether you know it or you research it, find three details about your stated topic. So in my case, I'm starting to put together the information that I know. So I know that penguin dads incubate the egg until it hatches. I know that penguin moms lay the eggs and afterwards leaves for 2 months to get food. I also know that once the egg hatches, the young stay sheltered in the pouch of the mother while their father brings food. And I also know that penguins do not fly. Now, as you can see from these four sentences, there's a general theme to them. All of them seem to be about penguin parents and how they care for their young. All of them except this last one. That's why I have it crossed out. Penguins do not fly. Sure, that's a fact, but it does not relate to what the theme is in my other detail sentences here. So I'm going to take that one out. And again, be sure to stay on topic and have at least 3 points you want to discuss. So the next question I'm going to ask myself is, are the details in an order that makes sense? Are they in the best configuration possible to really drive home your point? So if I look at these three things, they're actually already listed in the order that they occur in nature. So I'm going to leave them as is. But if any of them weren't in the right order, then of course I take it out. So what's a good topic sentence to tie these details together? So I'm going to start brainstorming and coming up with different options. Now these four are all options that could be used. Notice that there's a common theme in all four of these sentences that relate to the mother and father penguin taking care of their young in some form or another. Go ahead and pause the screen to read all four of these, but know that the one in red is the one that I'm going to choose. There's really no rhyme or reason as to why I did, other than this one makes the most sense to me. And like I said, the others could be good topic sentences too. So now that I know my details and I know my topic sentence, I need to make sure I have transition words. So here are my three details again from that first slide, but the only difference now is that I've added transition words to each of these. And since I'm discussing what happens to these penguin eggs from the moment that the mother penguin lays the egg to how the mom takes care of it, that's a chronological order of events that's going to occur naturally. And so it makes sense that I'm going to use first, then, and once as my transition words. But you are, of course, going to use what makes sense for your particular topic. After that, we need to put it all together. So as you can see here now, I have my paragraph put together. I've got my topic sentence. I've got my detail sentences right here in the middle with my transitions in there. And then I've added my concluding sentence, which we haven't discussed yet. But notice that I've put in a concluding transition. So it really isn't bringing any new information in. I'm just going to restate in another way the same thing I said in my topic sentence. So my topic sentence said penguin parents are very protective of their young and work together to care for them. So my conclusion should be kind of the same. So I said, in summary, penguin parents take care of their young by working together to keep them safe and fed. And that's it. That's how you pull together the pieces. Notice that I didn't dive right into paragraph writing. I spent quite a bit of time preparing first. And once you've done that preparation work, putting the pieces together is actually pretty fast, and you can be sure then that you're doing it correctly. So, should you write the topic sentence first or the detail sentences? Well, there really is no right or wrong. So long as you have done all the steps explained, your paragraph will come out fine. It doesn't really matter which order you do them in. Each writer has a different preference, but the main thing is that you have all elements from the topic sentence to the detail sentences to the transitions within those detail sentences and then a concluding sentence. So let's try it out. Let's think about the details for this one. So let's say our topic sentence was this: Arizona has been thinking about extending the school year from May to June, but I think that they should not extend the school year. What are some details you would expect to see in this paragraph? Here are some examples. We could write about why Arizona is extending the school year, when they plan to extend the school year, and reasons why it's a bad idea. Now I want you to take a minute to pause your screen and think of a closing statement for this paragraph. It does have a topic sentence and it has detail sentences, but it needs your help with a concluding sentence. And keep in mind you do want to use a transition. So go ahead and pause your screen and do that. All right, I assume that you've done that and you came up with a good closing sentence for that paragraph. Thank you for doing that. And here are some examples of closing sentences for that very paragraph that you just read. Do any of these look like what you came up with? Now, the wording may not be exact, but so long as you've got the gist of it down and you had that concluding transition in there, you got it. So here are some more examples of closing statements. It's the same list, but I'm just showing you that the one I would have gone with is this one. Okay, so let's review what you know. Let's take a second to match these. So on this screen in blue, you've got some terms, and in white, you have some definitions. Go ahead and pause the screen and try to match what goes with what. When you're ready to see the answers, hit unpause. So how did you do? Did you get that paragraph goes here? Main idea is what the story or paragraph is mostly about, and then of course details would be the sentences that support the main idea. So let's just recap. Today we went over what is a paragraph, reasons to write a paragraph, parts of a paragraph, transitions, and then we went over some examples. I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please do reach out via Kmail, Skype, and I would be very happy to meet with you one-on-one to discuss any questions you have. Take care.